Hello, everyone. Good to be back with you. We have another young Indian with us, part of the Voice of the Young series. He also happens to be a marine engineer, the first marine engineer in all the 500 people that have listened to now. So let's listen to him. We have Satatya Datta with us. Let's listen to him. Over to you, sir.
Yes, sir. Thank you for giving me this opportunity. I have passed my graduation in marine engineering from DMET Kolkata. After that, I have completed 9 months of sailing as a junior engineer in marine in two companies. And other than that, I have also done 1.5 years working with different kinds of generators and main engines in Wartsila. So my experience regarding marine engineering
By the
is
way, people may not know Wartsila, but Wartsila is a very large engineering company,
yes, sir.
right?
Wartsila is one of those companies which manufactures generators and main engines for big cruise ships as well as cargo ships. Another big company is MAN B&W. Basically, these two companies make engines for ships. There are also other companies, but they make for land-based generators. For the shipping, only these two companies are there.
Yeah,
So
but Wartsila, I think, also makes land-based, but
yeah,
maybe,
it
yeah,
also makes
okay.
land-based.
Yeah, yeah. All right, go ahead. Sorry to interrupt.
Yes, sir. So basically, in my experience as a marine engineer, what I saw is that the current generation is very much updated with all the knowledge and research that needs to be done before embarking on this journey. Because nowadays there is internet available across all spectrum, so people are very much well aware of what needs to be done. But still, the major drawback that is happening on board is the tough environment that is there is very difficult for a normal person who has never faced such an environment to just go there and give his best. So that kind of training actually it was given in our college days, but still once you go to an environment which is so much rough and tough on board, and where there is hardly any backup, all you have to do is do by yourself. So I think that requires a mental training that uh, sometimes it can be provided by college, but even if not provided by college, I think we can ask our seniors and teachers about what kind of environment we really need to face, because there on board there is no one, and internet is also fluctuating. So and it's a very tough environment. So uh, now we still get internet, we can talk with the family, but the previous generation even did not get access to that. So this is my first point, that the mental training needs to be done. The student who is willing to come to marine engineering, he must be familiar that the environment out there is quite difficult, and he has to do things independently, learn to do things independently. This is my first point. And the second point is, when someone goes to the ship, initially he or she will not get the plum of the jobs. The
Mm-hmm.
plum of the jobs will not be given to him initially. He will be given some kind of small jobs like cleaning, uh, removing oil, and small reading, taking parameter assessment. Only these kind of jobs. So most people they get defeated by this kind of jobs, and they leave marine engineering because they think that in their mind they will get the plum of the jobs very quickly. So the plum of the jobs, they are available only to you after you show some kind of competency.
Mm-hmm.
Once you show that competency, because it's an industry, so people only give work to people who upon whom they rely confidence and have confidence. So most people get frustrated that they are not getting the plum of the jobs, and also the tough environment both gets compounded and they leave. So I will say that, okay, don't get frustrated by doing petty jobs, because once you once you prove to your seniors that you are going great guns with those jobs, petty jobs, as many people think, the senior will take notice of you and promote you to higher jobs. So because that's the way this industry has been running for so many days. So this is the second point. And the third point is that nowadays the way marine engineering is updating itself, we were previously operating on diesel engines, but the way future is unfolding, diesel engines will not be there in the future. In the
Right.
future, it will be electrical engines and some other versions where fuel, as in crude oil, is not being used. Some kind of
Yeah.
alternate oil like methanol, ammonia, which is less harmful for the environment. So keeping that in mind, we should also upgrade our skills to uh, take into account that we are ready to face that change in the future. So we can study about electrical engines and study about how methanol and green ammonia is contributing to the next variation. So this is the third point. And another fourth point is uh, previously, around 20-30 years back, uh, technology was not so much used. It was purely mechanical, and whatever new introduction to technology that marine engineering is facing, we have to make ourselves adjusted to that level. What I'm trying to say is, like, with the introduction of AI in marine engineering, we have a new kind of system where we can get real-time data of how the engine is performing at a vastly upgraded amount that is not comparable to data that was taken by engineers by hand. Because by
Yeah.
hand, you cannot take all data, because there are some data that is inside the engine. So that kind of data now we are able to take. So in order to assess that data, we also need to upgrade our computer skills, and we must be aware of how AI is helping us to get acquainted with that kind of data. So upgradation with AI is also essential. So that is the fourth point. And the fifth point is uh, there there are some news that the marine engineering field will also have ships where there will be practically no person on board except for maybe the captain or the chief engineer or just one person. Nowadays, there are 20 to 24 people on board, and they are managing all the businesses on regarding the operations. But in future, there are talks where it will be completely made autonomous, and only very few people, one or two people, will be there, and the rest all will be monitored remotely from that. So there is also fear among some marine engineers that a job loss can be initiated by that process. But I will say that the future is not so dark that such autonomous shipbuilding will result in job loss in a mass scale, because as in India, there was also fear that if computers came, then job loss will also result. But that's not the case. A new industry regarding computer science was established. So similarly, in this field also, if autonomous ships do come, and they will come, there is also a new industry that will grow with regard to how to train people to use those autonomous ships. So the exact dark picture that people are thinking that autonomous in ships will completely wipe out jobs, that is not the case. And another thing that I want to say regarding how to upgrade the skills as a marine engineer, I think it is very much essential that while coming out from the ship, most people, they relax. It is okay, absolutely necessary that once you come back at home, you relax, you enjoy your time. It is also essential that you try to upgrade your skills, because on board we do not get time so much to read manuals because it's such a hectic schedule. So once we come back, I think we get a lot of time. We can sit quietly and relax and just go through all the manuals, that as much as information that can we can get, we try to get in that time while we are at home. Because on board it's practically very difficult to study, because the only thing that is there in the mind of an engineer, marine engineer, once he gets relieved of his job on board is to take sleep. That's another important thing. And regarding, I will say on a larger scale, marine engineers do play a role in driving the economy of the any country, because we need to transport. Supposing we suppose a country has a lot of crude oil. So in order to give to a country which does not have crude oil, they do require ships to transport that crude oil from that country to another country. And not only crude oil, all kinds of other things like iron, coal, uh, then steel, any kind of other equipments like cars, uh, helicopters, whatever equipment that needs to be transported in bulk, that is almost and most of the times they require the help of cargo ships to deliver. So this particular field is not uh, completely replaceable in the future. And because people, one country needs another country to export whatever things they are developing. So this particular field is not replaceable so easily. And if a particular person goes to the rank of, so once when we, so now I am a junior engineer, after 10 to 12 years I will become chief engineer. So there is a career progression that is possible. So from junior engineer we get to become a chief engineer. The chief engineer helms all the engine room operations and is responsible for supervising all the personnel. So that is regarding a job which is on board. But out of that, once he becomes chief engineer, he has a career where he can sit in an office and he can supervise 2 3 ships under him. He will become a superintendent.
Yeah.
And after that, there is also a career role where he gets to supervise 2 3 superintendents under him, and that's how it grows.
Yes.
And this is regarding the management role, and also there is another administrative role possible. So uh, he can work with the International Maritime Organization. That also requires some kind of practical skills. So if he has second engineer certificate, second engineer is below the chief engineer, he is the right hand of the chief engineer. So if he is below, if he has a rank of second engineer and then he wants to do an MBA in ship management or logistics, then he has a chance to work with IMO. So that is also a good career if he is regarding willing to change some, bring out some positive change in the marine environment. Can also work with the International Maritime Organization and even with the World Trade Organization, because many people have worked there also. So once they have served the ship, they also have done whatever managerial roles they are possible as superintendent, and then they have progressed their careers in IMO or other. Not exactly all people get to IMO, but they also get to uh, some kind of role with the corporates and the government. So they act as a liaison between the corporates and the governments. So that kind of role is also possible. So that is uh, what I want to say, that with regards to career, there is a lot of opportunities. And also if some people want to derive more research oriented purpose, they want to go to deep research, that's also there. Because we basically want to improve the efficiency of the ship and the engines. So if someone wants to go deep into research, that is also there. So he can do courses alongside his main uh, marine engineering job. He can do once he comes on board. Once he comes back at home, he can do courses like AutoCAD. He can do courses like ANSYS. He can do courses on thermal stress management, and all these kinds of courses are possible. So once he gets 4 or 5 years of practical experience in the industry, then he can apply for R&D roles in the industry, and then he can go for uh, research oriented programs in the industry. There is also another career that is possible with this marine engineering. So basically, what I want to say is there are various opportunities there, and even some people, they want to educate the young generation, and they opt for teacher roles. So basically teacher roles are available once you become a chief engineer, because
Right.
most people, most universities in India, they only take people who are chief engineers, not before that. So you have to grill through the process till you become chief engineer, and after that, if you want to come ashore and stay with your family, so you can also opt for that teaching role. Most people actually they get very much frustrated because they have to stay away from their family. That is the most whatever reasons, that is the most basic reason why people leave this job, because
Yeah.
they have to stay away from their family, and
Yeah.
they want to they do not like this kind of job where they are away from their family for 6 months, 9 months. So that's
Yeah.
why they stay away. And that's the reason, while in the starting there are a lot of people, but for chief engineers there is a lot of vacancy,
Yeah.
because practically there is no one there.
Yeah.
So I will say that there needs to be a, you have to keep in your mind that okay, it's a bit tough, but it's not so bad. That some people think that I will be forever doomed in this sea, and
Yeah.
I will not have further career progression.
Yeah.
As I mentioned, sir, there is a lot of career progression once you become chief engineer, and even if you become second engineer, or if you don't want to become second engineer also, if you are in, or if you have passed 4 or 5 years in this field, you can do R&D, you can do an MBA and shift to other shore-based roles where you are in an administrative or managerial position. That
Okay.
is also possible.
Okay. All right. You've talked quite a bit about the profession. Why don't you talk a bit about yourself, how you chose this field, and tell
Yes,
us
sir.
what a typical day on the ship is like, so that you
Yes,
said
sir.
it's very tough. But most of us have no idea of what it means. So why
Yes,
don't
yes,
you
sir.
tell us your own choices and how you came to be here?
Yes, sir. Actually, sir, I was interested in physics, and at that time, I was looking for and the period I'm talking about is after the end of class 12. So I was opting to go for higher studies in a good university. So I came across this. My father actually came across this advertisement in marine engineering, and he asked me to give the exam. So after that, I researched about this field and got to know that it has some engineering aspects. And since it was close, not exactly following the principles of physics, but somehow it was related with physics, so I chose this profession. And with regards to how my life was at college, the life of a particular student in college is different from other colleges, because we have to go through a strict routine. We have to wear different kinds of uniform. We don't get to wear casuals in college. There is a uniform like the people who are in the army. So there is also a uniform for us. There is a shirt, white shirt and white pant we have to wear, and there are applets in our shoulders, and we have to daily muster and give attendance in the corridor of our hostel. We have to arrange in a group, and after that we have strict timings for everything. We have a roll call at morning, we have a roll call at night. So we have to go through a very disciplined environment. And even when we were sleeping in our hostel rooms, there used to be a hooter which used to say that now is the time for roll call. It basically simulates the environment wherein in a ship, if there is an emergency, there would also be a hooter. So they are trying to basically train us to the sound of the hooter in the hostel, so that
Mhm.
whenever you hear the hooter, you come and arrange in a file, and then do the work as assigned by your seniors. So that kind of training is there in our college. And with regards to what is the typical day in a ship, so in a good ship, it typically starts with 8 o'clock. We go to the engine room. So basically, there are two departments on a ship. One is a deck department, and one is an engine department. A deck department is the deck department basically, they are responsible for navigating the ship. So basically, they are the drivers of the ship, like a car. There you can say that they are the driver. They provide which direction. They provide whether you want to go from. So basically, they drive the ship.
Okay.
And as engineers, we
Mm.
are we are responsible for maintaining that all the engine, all the machines that are there, that actually helps the ship to go ahead, that nothing, no errors come, and everything goes smoothly. So a typical day starts at 8 o'clock. We have to go to the engine room, and there we have a small meeting wherein the second engineer is the head of the engine room. He is below the chief engineer. Chief engineer, he does not come every day down to the engine room. He is there in the, he's actually more, uh, he conveys whatever needs to be done to second engineer after talking with the company, and the second engineer does the daily jobs. So we go there at 8 o'clock. After that, uh, there are three engineers. One is third engineer, one is fourth engineer, and another is junior engineer. So my
Right.
job is, as a junior engineer, is to ensure that whatever job a fourth engineer does, I assist him. So what does a fourth engineer do? A fourth engineer, he maintains the oil purifiers, he maintains the air compressors, he maintains the incinerator. So what is oil purifier is basically the fuel that needs to be supplied to the ship. We need to clean and make it good. So that's the job of an oil purifier. An air compressor is also a machinery which gives air. For combustion, we need fuel and air. So
Right.
that air, so that machine is maintained by the fourth engineer. And an incinerator is a machine that whatever waste oil that we have, we do not throw overboard, because that is a crime. Throwing oil overboard is a crime. So we just burn that oil. So that is the job of a fourth engineer, to maintain these three machines: air compressor, oil purifier, incinerator. And as a junior engineer, I help him in doing all kinds of things, in maintaining the oil purifier. So any leaks that are there, we have to uh, we have to know what is the root cause behind that leak. And also, if any uh, noise is coming from the oil purifier, too much vibration, we have to see why that vibration is occurring, and we have to stop the machine and then open it and see what is main cause. Maybe some bearing is damaged, that's why it's getting too much misaligned and causing the vibration. And then we have to check spares if a new bearing is available. So if a new bearing is available, then we have to put it, and after that we have to take pictures and then send it to the company. So that's how, this is I'm talking about the fourth engineer. He is doing all these jobs with the three machines. And as a junior engineer, this is one part of my job, to help fourth engineer. Other than that, there is also another job where, because there are so many places, uh, one oil needs to be used someplace else, and there is a pump running. So as a junior engineer, my responsibility is also in transferring of this oil from one position to another position, because the machine is there, but the fuel that it needs to burn and run, that fuel is stored in another tank. So my job is to start that pump and transfer that oil from that tank to that purifier. So these kinds of jobs are also there. And another job is, uh, I have to calculate on a daily basis how much oil is there on the tank, inside the tank. So that is called sounding. So we have a equipment wherein uh, we use, uh, I will not be able to demonstrate you, because if I can show you the picture, then it would be better. It's called a sounding bob. So we use that sounding bob to measure how much oil is there. And we have to, uh, because daily, once we are running the diesel engine, daily consumption of oil is there. So we have to daily measure how much oil is getting reduced in that tank. uh, because if the amount of oil that is getting used by the diesel engine is not comparable to the reduction by, as I am getting from the sounding, so that means there is some leakage. So I have to inspect from where the leakage is coming. So this is another part of my job. And also, as a junior engineer, it's not only that I have to help fourth engineer, I also have to help third engineer, I also have to help second engineer. Third engineer job is based on generators. The generator is actually used to provide electricity to the whole ship. So the third engineer actually maintains the three generators. The generators, there can be various problems in the generator. The generator is basically has two parts. One is a diesel engine and another is alternator. So the same thing that the fourth engineer does, the third engineer does also the same thing. He checks whether there are any leaks, whether the temperature of any machinery is going high. So he uses a thermal gun to check the temperature, and if any leaks, he founds any leak or the temperature is going too high, he opens the machines and then tries to find a root cause. So like in my previous ship, there was a problem with the fuel pump. The temperature of that particular unit or that particular diesel engine was getting too much high. So we opened the fuel pump, we inspected, and we found that it was getting stuck at one point. So we cleaned the debris and we removed whatever dirt particles were there, and after that the temperature became normal. So these kinds of jobs are daily there. If you find any temperature going high, you have to overhaul the fuel pump. You have to check if there is any uh, uh, if any component is stuck, and then we have to remove and clean and put it back. So basically, this is the general job. Whatever uh, you have to just check whether everything is going accordingly, and if not, you have to open the machine and find the problem, clean and put back and start as quickly as possible. Sir, your voice is muted, sir.
Unmute, okay. On a ship these days, when you are sailing, do you have mixed nationalities or is it going to be all Indian crew?
No, sir, because nowadays mostly marine engineering is a field where people from various countries are there. So whatever contract I sailed, mostly there were of mixed nationalities, but very few. There are some companies as well where you can get uh, only Indians or only Philippines, whatever they want. But mostly nowadays, the mixed crew is mostly that is the norm. People, companies are opting for mixed crew.
And the captain?
The captain basically, like my last ship, the owner of the company was Iranian. So because he has more he because he was a member of the Iranian country, so he trusted more Iranians to do the job of a captain and chief engineer. So he made sure that the captain and the chief engineer were from Iran. That is not only for Iran. Most ownership companies, the country for to which the ship belongs, the owner tries to see that the people in higher posts of that ship are from that country only, because they feel that they are more transparent and not hiding any data.
Okay. So did you sail to Iran in that ship?
No, sir. We sailed. We were only stranded in Anchorage near Venezuela because there were some sanctions in Venezuela. That's
Yeah.
why we were not able to take oil from Venezuela, and we were in Anchorage for 3 months only.
Wow. But
And
you
also,
went,
sir, there people think that we get to go for shore leaves very often because we are near a particular country, and people think that we can go every evening outside the ship and enjoy the outside atmosphere and come back. It's not like that, sir. It depends. Mostly, if we are on port, then that luxury is there. But having to stay on port incurs some kind of cost. It's just like we are using a space, so we have to give
yeah,
parking fees for that.
yes,
So in a port, we do not stay for so much time. If if we do get to stay on a port, it's only for at max 1 to 2 days at max. So whatever time you get only 6 7 hours, 6 7 hours for shore leave, and that's it. It's not like that is also available every day, because we are on board a ship, and whatever operations are being done, we have to do only because very limited people are there. So if most of the people are going outside, then the ship will be empty and no one will be there to do the job. So it's not like that we can go out and come back again on a daily basis. It's
Okay.
only possible sometimes, not always.
So it's a tough job.
Yes, because we don't have to, because why I'm calling it tough, because um, we don't get to go out of the ship and enjoy outside so much.
Yeah.
It's only possible sometimes, not always. And
Okay.
also we have to be alert 24/7, because if any alarm comes, we have to go there and reset the alarm and check for the failure. And alarm does not know any time. Alarm can come anytime. He will not say that I will not come during the night time and I will come only during daytime. Alarm can come anytime, and we have to go and attend the alarm even during the night.
Right.
That is there.
Okay. But are you happy with your choice?
Yes, sir. Actually, I knew that this particular field is has these kinds of problems, and there are also good things that you learn about it. Because since this schedule is tough, so I have made sure that whatever time I get, I use it well to take my sleep and talk with family. And it is also very important that you communicate with your with the people who are there on board, and you don't stay lonely in your room. Because if you stay lonely in your room, then the mind then an ideal mind is a devil's workshop.
Hmm.
So if you stay alone for too much time, then all those negative things will come to your mind. So it's best that you talk to your family, that you talk to the members of the ship, and you do all kinds of recreation things as much as possible, and take good sleep.
Okay.
So these four things are very important if
All
you
right.
want to
Hmm.
rest. Because what I mean to say is, sir, that we don't need too much high technical skills for this job. The most important thing is that we know how to communicate with people, we know how to make use of good sleep, and we know uh, how to keep our mental health good. If we know these three things, then we can sail through very easily, because too much technical skills is not required. We only have to know how to keep ourselves happy, and the rest everything will follow.
And obviously, it must pay enough, right?
Yes, sir. Actually, because most people, including me, when I joined, one reason was that the salary was good. So
Yeah.
that's why I also came. A
Okay.
part was that I was interested in physics, but
Okay.
another reason was also that because the salary was good, I came. So of course, people don't give you high salary just like that. They take as much as work possible from you. So there is that side cost of getting that high salary. So the company demands that you are there on duty 24 hours, and whatever little mistakes that are happening, that you attend to it and solve it as quickly as possible.
Yeah.
Sometimes that is not always possible. So there is
Yeah.
also this pressure from the companies. Sometimes it's also unrealistic that you do it as fast as possible, and do it with as little spare parts as possible. So these kinds of problems are also there. And another thing that, now that you say, sir, there is this mental health of seafarers, which is not so much recognized. Because because like the truck jobs of US, uh, it's a very tough job, and they have to drive through a very difficult conditions, through harsh winters, through dangerous storms. And there is a mindset among the truck owners that this job is like this,
Yeah.
and they don't want to improve the conditions. They say
No.
that you have to improve yourself, you have to
Yeah.
make yourself fit for the job,
Yeah.
rather than I providing some external
Yeah.
conditions and making the conditions good.
Yeah.
Because that actually they are seeing it in a short term. They think that I my sale my investment cost will go up if I provide uh, those extra refreshments for my truck drivers, and also for my marine engineers. If I
Yeah.
provide those extra refreshments, then my investment cost will go up. But if in the long term, if you see, sir, so many people around, I'm just giving a small example. 100 people, they are joining the marine engineering field, and the company is investing some amount of money on those 100 people. They have to fly them from their country to the ship. They have to train them. That incurs a cost from the company. Now, out of those, only 20 people they stay at the end of the day. So the remaining 80 people they leave. That and the reason of that is because it is very difficult for them to adjust so quickly. So in a short term, you may say that if I try to keep all those 80 people inside, my investment cost will increase very
Yeah.
much. But on
Yeah.
the long term, if you see, if you try to keep those 80 people, and if they do stay with you, so the initial investment cost that you gave to them, that will not go waste. And
Yeah.
in the long term, they will stay with your company, stay with you, and they will manage the ships and run your ships, and in the long term they will come as profits to you. So if we use that long term thinking, it will be good.
Okay. All right. Anything else you want to add here?
No sir, mostly I have spoken whatever
Okay.
I needed to. I only
All right.
wanted to add the mental health, and I said
Yeah,
about.
you read it. Okay, good. So let's end it here. It's very
Okay.
interesting to hear about marine engineers and life on the ship. It's almost like, this has been the life for 3,000 years or 5,000 years.
Yeah.
Since engines, well, not the sailing ships, but since engines came,
Yeah,
maybe 250 years. This is the life of,
this is the life of most seafarers, and it is becoming good with every coming day.
yeah. Okay, good. So,
Previously it was more difficult.
yeah. So thank you for it.
Yes.
I'll be back with another young person or an expert soon. Bye till then. Bye, everybody.
Okay sir.